rain tomorrow. We might not be so lucky. Ron Gardenhire in his 13th year, hoping that the Twins can clinch a season series split with a win here tonight. Don't want to fall 5 games below the 500 mark. The Menard batting order for game 2. Danny Santana leading off. Brian Dozier batting second. Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham. Kendrys Morales back in there in the DH spot. Oswaldo Arcia, Eduardo Nunez, Kurt Suzuki will catch Kevin Correa and Eduardo Escobar. All of them facing left-hander Jay Happ.
Jay Happ making his 8th start for the Blue Jays this season. He's 5-2 with a 4.12 ERA. He's pitched quite well his last 3 starts, getting into the 7th inning, so it'll be another challenge for the Twins tonight.
Northland Ford defense for the Jays. Melky Cabrera is in left field. Anthony Goes in center. Jose Bautista in right. Francisco Reyes, Laurie, Encarnacion. The only change behind the plate, Josh Tolley catches R.A. Dickey, and Deanna Navarro catches just about everybody else. And right out of the chute, Happ wants a new baseball. What would have happened to the baseball? Jackie just did his warm-up tosses. They threw it around the infield.
Well, they might have got some, I don't know, some sticky stuff from maybe that shortstop or second baseman when they touch. Who knows?
Here's Santana. Started the ball game with a home run from the left side of the plate. He has 2 big league home runs, 1 from each side of the plate now. 1-0. And a strike. When the Twins last saw Happ, he was pitching out of the bullpen for Toronto, and he was a part of maybe the ugliest inning in the history of Major League Baseball when the Twins scored 6 runs on 1 hit. Sergio Santos faced 3 men, walked all 3, uncorked a couple of wild pitches. Happ relieved him and didn't do a whole lot better.
That was a very, very ugly inning, very uncharacteristic of the bullpen for the Jays. They were very good last year.
2-1, and Santana takes strike 2. Santana just keeps hitting and has performed both from the right side and the left side of the plate. Missing inside, 3-2.
Pitcher's pitch right there for Jay Happ. Froze Danny Santana on the fastball, inner half.
Full count to Santana. And ball 4. So Santana not known for walking, but he starts this game with a free pass, and that'll bring up Dozier.
Mall of America scouting report for Jay Happ. He does have a sneaky fastball. It's one of those fastballs, when I say sneaky, the hitters look up there at the radar gun and they see it's in the low 90s, but it seems like it's in the high 90s. It can really get up on him. That's because the release point's hard to pick up for Jay Happ. He has a good downward plane, and he's been pitching a lot better. He will run up the ladder with fastballs too and get him to chase up.
Strike over the inside corner. Santana and his speed at first. He's just drawn his 5th walk against 20 strikeouts, and now Dozier, who also homered in his first at bat in the first inning yesterday. Wallop to left. Going back is Cabrera at the wall. Gone, a home run. And Dozier nearly passed Santana. At first base, Dozier nearly passed him. And I see first base umpire Chris Guccione nodding across the diamond to Tom Hallion. So we assume this will be a 2-run home run.
Fill me in, Dick. I'm not sure what happens if they touch each other. As long as Santana gets to second base first, that's still all right, isn't it? You can see Dozier's watching the flight of the ball, and Santana's tagging up just in case the ball's caught. He wants to try to get to second base.
Dozier and Santana. It is a 2-run home run, but it was. I looked down at the runners, and here they were almost running side by side. Another quick 2-0 start for the Twins. Compliments of Santana and Dozier. 1 strike to Mauer. And now a ball. If Dozier passes Santana, then Dozier is out. and Santana remains at first. I believe that's the rule. We'll look that up here when we get a chance. Mauer now 1-2.
Been quite a while since Joe's batting average has been where it is tonight to start this game.
Bounce to the right side, and coming in from short right field, Laurie throws him out. One down. And we get to read this card early again. In today's game, we're participating in the home run challenge. Every home run in this game raises $602 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homeRunChallenge.org. The Twins organization is also getting involved, and they'll be donating an additional $10,000 for each home run hit by a Twin this week, and $1,000 for every strikeout by a Twins pitcher. Josh Willingham takes strike one. Toward the hole, and that'll go through, and the Twins are off to a quick start here against Jay Happ.
Some pretty good at bats for the Twins hitters so far. Santana walks, takes a few pitches, gives the guys behind him a chance to see Jay Happ's stuff tonight. Kind of off the end of the bat there, but as strong as Willingham is, he pulls it in the hole. An easy base hit for him.
And as it turns out, might have been an easy decision for the Twins to reinsert Kendrys Morales in the DH spot. He got a hit in his Twins debut last night, and it was not against R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer. Here's a double play grounder. And Reyes juggles the ball a little bit. Still has time to get Morales, and the inning ends. But Brian Dozier with his 14th home run, this time with a man aboard, and it's 2-0. A home run in the first inning last night, and now he's put the Twins up 2-0. John Gibbons in his second stint managing the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's got his team playing really good baseball. They score a lot of runs. Here's the Menards batting order for Toronto. Good night last night for Jose Reyes, Melky Cabrera, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, Adam Lind, Brett Lowry, Deanna Navarro, Juan Francisco, and Anthony Goes facing Kevin Correa, stacked to an early 2-0 lead.
Season numbers for Kevin Correa, making his 13th start.
On the outside corner, strike one.
Seeking his third win of the year. Kevin spotted with a 2-run lead early, so we'll see if he can get the team right back in the dugout.
And a foul ball. 2 strikes. Reyes wasn't with the Blue Jays when the Twins were in Minnesota. He was rehabbing an injury. 2 strikes, Correa to Jose Reyes. And down and away, 1-2. Reyes, Cabrera, and Bautista. In last night's game, the Twins staked their starter, Ricky Nolasco, to a 2-0 lead, and it didn't last through the bottom of the inning. Encarnacion hit his 3-run home run, and the Twins had to play catch-up the rest of the night.
You talked about Jose Reyes missing the series in Minnesota. He had a hamstring problem, and he's been plagued by leg injuries quite often in his career. Last year broke his ankle sliding into second base and rolled his ankle, I guess. Really a bad injury. Took him about 2.5 months to get back in the lineup.
Chopped off the plate, and Correa throws to Mauer, 1 away. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. And the Twins have Josh Willingham in left, Danny Santana in center, Oswaldo Arcia in right, Trevor Plouffe getting the night off, Eduardo Nunez at third, Escobar Dozier up the middle, Mauer at first, and Suzuki behind the plate. Correa, for a couple of starts, had Josmiel Pinto behind the plate, and the results weren't dramatically different than Suzuki behind the plate. And so the Twins went back to Suzuki here, trying to do whatever they can to find the right combo. And for Correa, 48 runs allowed, and these have not been, I mean, his high ERA hasn't been because of a bunch of little paper cuts. There's been some major hemorrhaging in his innings with the Twins this year. There's a ball fouled away. He's had a 6-run inning, a 5-run inning, 5 3-run innings, 8 2-run innings, and only 6 of the runs this year have scored one at a time.
And a tough goal last time, only pitching 5 innings, giving up 10 hits and 5 earned runs. So Kevin needs to get back on track.
Two and 1 to Cabrera. Correa in his last start got an Arcia grand slam and then proceeded to give back a 3-run home run to Carlos Gomez in the very next half inning.
Momentum killers is what those are. When your team scores, and Tom Kelly was probably the king of preaching that to his pitching staffs, get the boys back in the dugout, take the momentum right away from the opposition.
Well, that's kind of what happened last night, wasn't it? I mean, the Twins get Santana and Dozier hitting home runs, start of a new series. You know of Toronto's power, and so you go, all right, we can play the power game too. Sure. We've got a nice uplifting start, and it lasts about 12 pitches, and you're down 3-0.
5 hitters later, it was
3-2. Yeah.
3-2.
Flip foul by Cabrera, another 3-2 pitch coming.
Well, this is a very tough lineup right now. You're going to have to be on your A game and make some quality pitches. The St. Louis Cardinals came in to Rogers Center here over the weekend, and Shelby Miller threw a gem, a shutout, followed by another shutout the next day.
Drilled to right. Arcia plays the carom. It's a single. A 1-out single, hard off the wall and right from Melky Cabrera. And that'll bring up Bautista.
Well, we talked about pitch location, and this again is a pitch that right up in the whooping zone for Melky Cabrera, middle half, belt high. Just a tough pitch to try to get a hitter out with. When you're 3-2, you have to throw strikes. So working ahead in the count again, very important for Kevin Correa.
Right down the middle of the plate. It's lashed to right field. Cabrera will be held at second base. First and second, one away for Encarnacion. Tonight's Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And Encarnacion has hit 14 home runs since the middle of May, and that's more than the Yankees have the entire team.
He's been on fire, and He can do that. Edwin is some kind of strong. Hit a 3-run home run like we talked about in last night's game. 20 for the year now for Edwin.
On the outside corner with a breaking ball. Cutter, 1 strike. Last night with 2 men aboard, Encarnacion got a breaking ball over the inner corner and hammered it over the wall and left. High fly to left. And Willingham makes the call and the catch for out number 2. And that'll bring up Adam Lind.
Twins did a good job with Adam Lind last night. They struck him out twice. He was 0 for 4. And here's a guy that was pretty hot coming into the game, hitting 342 into the start of last night's game. So Twins shut down a good hitting designated hitter, Adam Lind.
Dozier, the second baseman, playing in short right field. And Correa misses outside. Right down the middle with a 91-mile-per-hour fastball, 1-1.
I was teasing Lindy yesterday about his new look, his long goatee, and asked him if it was ZZ Top or Duck Dynasty that influenced him more. He had a big smile on his face.
Tapper right side. Dozier charges and flips. Couple of singles do no damage, and the Twins come off the field with a 2-0 lead.
Have a 2-0 lead over the Blue Jays early. I'm Jamie Hirsch. Even though the Twins weren't able to come away with a win last night, they did provide some late-inning heroics, thanks in large part to Kurt Suzuki. He's our T-Mobile game changer, and he came up with a clutch at bat, an RBI double to spark the rally. I asked him what his mentality is when he steps up to the plate with runners in scoring position, and he said, really, my main goal is just to give myself a chance, and that just means putting the ball in play. He said, I can't control what happens after that, but it is my job to hit the ball hard, put it in play, and see how it all shakes out. He is a tough guy to strike out. He showed once again last night why they called him Kurt Clutch in college.
Well, he certainly has been that for the Twins. Thank you, Jamie. Arcia with a liner to center, and a sliding catch by Goes. Arcia with a line drive for the first out of the second inning. Arcia's actually hit left-handers better than right-handers, and he hit that ball hard. One down. That'll bring up Nunez.
Twins have really swung the bats well here. A breaking ball that Arcia squares up, and Anthony Ghost does a nice job of sliding, catching the ball above his shoes.
Here's Nunez. When Nunez was acquired, we all thought that he would be in the mix at short. A couple of things have happened. One, Escobar's kind of taken over there at short, played well defensively, and has hit 300. Nunez has been needed some in the outfield. When he's played in the infield, it's been at third base. His only starts in the infield have been at third, including tonight.
He's played left field, he's played right field, he's played third base, and we were talking about it before the game. I can't remember, and I haven't seen him take any ground balls at shortstop.
Yeah.
And like you said, we were expecting that that's where he would get some playing time.
1-2 from J. Happ to Eduardo Nunez. 2-2 he might be, if there was such a thing as a depth chart. In baseball, he might be third on the depth chart at short. You've got Escobar there, then probably Santana, and then maybe Nunez. Foul back. And Nunez getting a start Sunday in right field. Had a good day.
Yeah, long home run into the bullpen, target field, a couple nice catches out there.
And now a pitch inside, pulled foul.
That's one of those pitches where if you don't swing, it's going to hit you.
Chopped off the plate.
First off-speed pitch J. Happ's thrown tonight right there. Kind of got Nunez out in front. Again, pulling the foul ball.
Popped up. Navarro back. Makes a nice play. Had just enough room and just enough time to get back there to make the catch. 2 down. And that'll bring up Suzuki.
Now he reacts quick. He gets a little help from his teammates yelling back, 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 and reacts to it well. Ball stayed up, like you said, Dick, just long enough for him to get back to the warning track there in front of the backstop.
Here is Suzuki hitting 8th. He's hit just about everywhere in the lineup, but first and 9th. And he takes a strike over the inside corner. Happ's won 4 of his last 5 starts. Had some back trouble early on this year. One and one.
Kurt Suzuki having a big night last night. 3 for 4, excuse me. 3 base hits, an RBI in his last at bat. And his batting average climbed up over 300 again because of his night last night.
The regular players for the Twins, there are 4 of them that have their batting average starting with a 3. And I don't think too many people coming out of spring training would have guessed that Santana, Willingham, Suzuki, and Escobar would be the 4. More importantly, that Joe Mauer wouldn't be one of however many they had. Joe started the day with a .259 batting average. 2-2 to Suzuki.
As crazy as it might sound, there's optimism knowing that Joe will get this straightened out. And if he can and everybody else continues to contribute the way they can, and if the new addition, Kendrys Morales, can do what he's projected to do, the Twins could have a very dynamic offense themselves.
Here's my prediction. If he doesn't break out of it here or in Detroit, he will in Boston. He loves hitting at Fenway Park. At Fenway Park, I've got him for 3 doubles and a home run and probably hitting 500 at Fenway Park. 2-2 to Suzuki. And a chopper to the right side. Laurie has an easy play, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning for J. Happ. Thursday Night Baseball. Twins took 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays in Minnesota. Hoping to do that here. 3 games here in Toronto, then 3 in Detroit, and 3 in Boston. The Tigers-White Sox game got rained out tonight, and that has juggled the Tiger rotation, meaning that the Twins will not face either Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer.
Yeah, the Twins caught a break due to Mother Nature.
So they will see instead Sanchez, which is he's right up there with them, but you'll face Sanchez, Porcello, and Smiley in the Twins Detroit series over the weekend. Brent Laurie leading things off. First pitch very high, ball 1. Pasted to center. Another solid hit, third single for the Blue Jays. And it'll bring up Navarro. I asked Ron Gardenhire today about the difference he's seen from Correa last year to this year, and didn't expect he'd be talking about mechanics or anything, because everybody knows that'd be over my head. But he just said it's a matter of the big inning. Being able to, I mean, any pitcher is going to find yourself with men on base, but to do more of what Correa did in the first inning. A couple of guys on, 1 out, get the next 2 batters, and you come out of there, you know, as if it were a 1-2-3 inning.
It's called in-game management and understanding the importance of outs. You know, you can give up a hit, sometimes even 2 hits, as long as they're singles.
Right.
And then you have to figure out a way. You need an out in between, and then you need a double play. You need to know how to do those things. And for me, when I watch Kevin, it's more about pitch location. He will go along, and we talked about in the open, he will go along and he'll be pitching off the plate and hitting his spots pretty good, and then he leaves that pitch over the middle.
Missing inside 1-1.
If you look back at the hits that he's given up tonight, those are examples of that. The ball's over the middle. In good hitting teams, they don't miss the good pitches.
He has induced 5 ground ball double plays, which isn't a lot given the number of base runners that have been aboard. 2-1. The leagues, and we have to include them both now, Major League Baseball hitting .321 against Kevin Correa. Swing and a miss, an off-speed pitch evens the count.
I was told by one of my mentor, very, very good pitching coach, Roger Craig, I was in situations where I was losing games, and my record early in the year was under 500. I was kind of down on myself. He sensed it, and he convinced me, and it could have been in May, it could have been in April, it could have been in June. He convinced me, look, you can't go back and bring those games back. You can start today. And I think that's what Kevin Correa needs to do. Forget about the 2-7 start. He could still salvage this year and have a very productive year by going out there and doing the things that we've talked about, doing the things that his pitching coach and manager has talked about, and just eliminated the past. It's a hard thing in baseball, but positive thinking is such an important part of it. Reflecting on your success and just trying to let the negative thoughts roll off your back.
Another liner, another base hit to center. Santana returning it to the infield. So 4 singles in the first 7 at bats. And Correa's going to need to do a little more damage control right away here in the second inning. Owning Twins season tickets provides a guaranteed seat and a whole lot more. Season ticket holders receive a variety of experiences, benefits, and exclusive access, including All-Star Game ticket purchase priority. The best way to enjoy the All-Star summer is to join the Twins season ticket family, and you can do that by calling 833-TWINS. We promise you they've got a season ticket package that fits your budget. And we'll see you at the All-Star Game. Here's Juan Francisco, the number 8 hitter. Breaking ball off the plate.
Another thing that Kevin has had a tough time doing this year, and I'm sure during last year's success he had an easier time with is his pitch count gets up there so quickly that he's not getting deeper into games like they'd like him to do because of it. And it's these multi-hit innings. You look up there, he's already at 27 pitches.
Facing 6 batters instead of 3.
Exactly. You know, and all these things are easier said than done. Trust me. It's not easy, but the good ones are able to get through the first 3 innings without showing the kitchen sink, every pitch that they have in their repertoire. Get some ground balls. You don't need strikeouts. In today's game, I think it's kind of an over glorified out, really, because it takes at least 3 to 5 to 7 pitches to get a strikeout.
Missing inside 2-1.
In the pitch count era, you need ground balls. You need 2 pitch outs. And, you know, under 10 pitch innings once in a while to stay in games deep.
Nobody out here in the second. Correa pitched out of a jam in the first, doing the same, hopefully as successfully here in the second. And now 3-1 with Anthony Goes on deck.
And this has become a pattern with Kevin. He'll give up a couple hits and then be very, very, very careful with the next few hitters, which he has to be. You don't want the runners to advance. He ends up walking a guy, and then another hit, and all of a sudden it turns into an ugly inning.
3-1 to Juan Francisco. Fouled off a leg. The Jays 13 games above the 500 mark. Twins 4 games below. Francisco given a little extra time to let the front leg cool down a little bit. Three-two pitch. Line to Dozier and safe there at second. I think they would have had a play at Navarro at first base, but another line drive, this time right to the second baseman, 1 down.
You see how Brett Lawrie there in the left of your screen freezes on contact and watches the ball to see if it's going to get through and past Brian Dozier. That was good base running by the second baseman, Brett Lawrie.
Goes at the plate. Breaking ball left up high. .33 pitches, 21 strikes for Correa. Cutter inside gets a swing and a miss.
Gose has a tough time handling the breaking ball inner half from right-handed hitters. He commits sometimes too early and will chase. Balls will run off the plate. Such was the case of that last pitch.
At the same pitch, missed inside. Goes, took it for ball 2. Three and 1 to the number 9 batter.
Just too many pitches, too many times behind in counts here for Kevin. These are innings he's struggling to get through. He did the good job of getting through those in his win against the Yankees in New York.
And a walk fills the bases. First walk, 4 singles. Back to the top of the order and Jose Reyes. Soup.com trivia named the 2 Blue Jays to hit more than 20 home runs through Toronto's first 65 games of a season. Encarnacion with 20.
Well, I got to go with
so he's
Bautista.
one. I'm going to take a name out of the past.
Oh, yeah?
Carlos Delgado.
Well, he's one of the power hitters,
Yeah.
big time home run hitters for the Jays, but Bautista's hit 50 a couple times, so I got to go with him.
Bases loaded for Jose Reyes. Strikeout, pop up, ground ball, hit sharply at somebody. Twins will take any of that. There's a strike at the knees. Reyes with a good day at the plate, 3 hits last night, and Correa got him to hit a comebacker in the first inning.
Kevin's done a pretty good job in situations like this, getting the ground ball and double play to get out of these kind of innings. Reyes a pretty good runner still, even with his leg problems over the last couple years.
Back to the full windup, and a ball to the backstop. Correa wasn't sure it had been foul tipped, so he ran towards home plate. 2 strikes. Correa, of course, not known for racking up a bunch of strikeouts. 37 of them in 67 and 2/3 innings. And Reyes not known to strike out that often. Correa behind the back. 1-2. That's all they'll get. But Correa behind the back snags a 1-hopper for out number 2.
You can't teach this. They don't practice this. This is just human reaction to the baseball hit towards the pitcher. And this is going to make a highlight reel somewhere. You can see how he turns his back a lot like Francisco Liriano used to do, spinning off the ball, throws his glove there, and guess what hit it? The baseball.
And Suzuki looked at first, decided not to throw. Here's Melky Cabrera with the bases reloaded with 2 out. Outside, ball 1. Cabrera singled hard off the wall in right his first time up. Chopped up the line. Mauer to Correa. The Jays have left 5 men on through the first 2 innings, and the Twins hang on to a 2-0 lead. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Not sure how, but the Twins have maintained a 2-0 lead. Eduardo Escobar leads off the 3rd, taking strike 1 from Jay Happ. Escobar, Santana, and Dozier here in the Twins' 3rd. And now 2 strikes. Escobar is a left-handed batter, hit a little chip shot just out of the reach of Brett Laurie that tied the game last night. And I think everybody here in Toronto, at least up in the broadcast booth, and I think some guys down in the dugout too, fully expected Danny Santana to follow it up with another hit. Here's a chopper to short. Reyes tried to barehand and it went by him, and Escobar is going to dig for second and be there.
Heads up base running right there by Eduardo Escobar. Reyes, bang bang play. He's going to try to barehand it. That's the only real play he had, but left fielder Melky Cabrera did not react to it at all. He's got to be coming in here just anticipating the same kind of thing that happened, and Eduardo just really recognized that once it got by, you see him take a peek right there, and he hustles on down to second base. So Twins have another runner in scoring position, nobody out.
Wow, gave him a double. Okay, I would have scored a single and an error, but here's Santana. Corner infielders in, expecting a possible bunt. And there is ball 1 outside. And Santana has gone deep in counts. He's not appeared to be over eager. He hasn't, had any or many 1, 2, or third pitch at bats.
Seems very calm. He's not overreacting to anything. He's never panicking. And that's a sign of a guy that's confident in his ability. A lot of young players can get flustered.
Well, I was just going to say that. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe it any other way. 1-1 to Santana. A little bit low, 2-1, and it's been less than 100 at bats, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here. But basically, to me, Santana has performed and acted like the Twins had hoped some of the other more publicized prospects would have acted coming through the minor leagues up to the big league level. The Twins are still waiting for that spurt from Aaron Hicks. It just hasn't come, and Santana just kind of called up on an emergency situation. They needed somebody to play short, and he just looks like he belongs here. 2-2. I guess another way of putting it, he doesn't look overmatched at all.
He's taking advantage of an opportunity is what he's doing, and believes in himself. I think that's key. Confidence. There's a difference between arrogance and confidence, and I think it's a fine line in the pro sports level, but you have to be confident.
Strikes out here for the first out of the 3rd inning. The Skyline Music Festival makes its return to Target Field this summer. Melissa Etheridge and OAR headlining this year's event. It all takes place Saturday, August 9th, and the tickets go on sale tomorrow morning at 10. They can be purchased online only, so visit twinsbaseball.com. Spend an evening at the 2014 Skyline Music Festival at Target Field, presented by Michelob Golden Draft Light. There's strike 1 to Brian Dozier. Got a pitch up and in, and he did what he does with those pitches, hammering it over the fence.
I didn't think he had the good part of the bat on the ball there, but when it travels 375 feet over the left field wall, you know that he squared it up good.
Just outside, 1-1. Dozier now trying to pick up Santana, who failed to advance Escobar. Escobar with a pretty healthy lead at second base. And Dozier takes a strike. 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
94 miles per hour and a foul to the screen.
The home runs from Brian Dozier last night. See it hit the second deck, knocking something off the facing there, and this tonight it was into the Blue Jay bullpen.
1-2 to Dozier with Escobar at second. Tapper foul.
A perfectly good cup of popcorn got spilled on that last play.
Happ again on 1-2. To the left field corner and foul. Nice catch.
And brought his glove. Either that or he borrowed Danny Gladden's. All three of them. Four of them.
Gladden's glove was a lot bigger than that, wasn't it?
No, actually, the one he uses today is a lot smaller. It's an infielder's glove, which he is not. We both agree with that. But Danny always wears it to broadcast his games.
Hit harder and more foul. Rattling a cage back there.
Yeah, one of the ushers running to get out of the way. Wanted no part of that one.
There he is. One of the best embraces I've ever seen was when that man crossed home plate and you were there to greet him.
Yeah, that was a very, very special moment in my life.
High and tight, 2-2. Twins leading 2-0. Dozier's 2-run home run put them in front. Doesn't look like it's the type of night where the Twins are going to win by a shutout. Looking for a hit here from Dozier to take advantage of the gift double. Now 3-2 with Mauer on deck.
49th pitch already for Jay Happ. Both starting pitchers throwing a lot of pitches early in this ball game. Twins with only one out here in the top of the third inning.
Twins counting tonight have 100 games left on the schedule. Breaking ball. Dozier got a piece of it.
Running a little out front there, off speed breaking ball that Jay Happ kind of pulled the string a little, tried to get him out in front, and he did, but Ryan still made contact, keeping this batted live.
It's a 10-pitch at bat. Dozier with a handful of 2-strike fouls.
Big run at second base for the Twins. They could pick up an RBI. Brian could right here.
Dozier drew a walk last night, his 41st of the year. Quick trip to the mound by Deanna Navarro. The 41 walks for Dozier, third in the American League behind Jose Bautista's 51, Carlos Santana's 47. His 53, now 54 runs lead the league. Popped up right side. Retreating Encarnacion. He'll give way to Laurie. Long at bat by Dozier, but Happ gets the out, 2 away.
Well, even with the out, that's an excellent at bat by Brian Dozier, just because he's running the pitch count up on the opposing pitcher. In today's game, it's so important. One at bat, 10 pitches, you only get 100. So that's 1/10 of his whole game right there in one at bat.
We'll bring up Mauer. And under the assumption Joe will eventually break out of the worst slump of his career, it will start, I suspect, in a situation like this. 2 outs, a runner in scoring position, and Joe, who's struggled so mightily with men in scoring position, will get the hit. Get a little positivity going, and maybe that'll get him going. Strike 1. First time up, a ground ball to second. Strike 2. I will say this is about as straight up an outfield as anybody's played against Joe. You look where the left fielder Cabrera is. That's about where Cabrera would stand for Josh Willingham or anybody else. So the left field corner, which has been a graveyard for Mauer line drives, is pretty wide open.
Plus Reyes is playing shaded up towards the middle, so there's a big hole there at the shortstop position. Anthony Gose is shaded to left field, but a nice gap in right center also.
2 strikes. And now he takes a breaking ball for ball 1. Guy came into the year with 4,378 at bats. He's a known quantity. This has just been a terrible stretch for him, the worst of his big league career. 2-2.
I saw a stat the other day, Dick, that I just was absolutely dumbfounded by when I saw it. All those at bats you just talked about with Joe Mauer, in 3-0 counts, I believe it's either 2 or 3 hits in his career.
Was that right?
3-0 counts. He takes a pitch.
Yeah.
He doesn't jump on that 3-0 pitch.
Now the count 2-2. Fastball missing. Willingham on deck.
Well, he's a guy that's always been known to have an excellent eye at the plate. And this year, a lot of close pitches have gone against Joe, especially on the outer half of the plate. Something that probably hasn't happened very often in his career.
3-2 to Mauer. It was 0-2 and he lost him, and that'll bring Willingham up with 2 men aboard.
Great at bat again there, working the count. Second walk of the ball game now for Jay Happ.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach, to the mound. Willingham with a single to left, his first time up.
Hasn't been easy for Jay Happ tonight either. 57 pitches already, so his pitching coach Pete Walker is just going to give him a breather and try to settle him in. Sometimes a trip to the mound by your pitching coach can kind of get you focused and get you through an out. An important out for Jay Happ right here.
Gave the Blue Jays a quality start in his most recent start at Comerica Park against the Tigers, a win. Start before that got roughed up a little bit by the Royals. Big spot here for Willingham. First and second, 2 down. Strike over the inside corner.
One of his best fastballs of the game right there, a 94-mile-an-hour over the top fastball down and away. And it could have been a simple message from Pete. Let it go. Don't try to guide the ball.
And over the outside corner, 94 miles per hour, and he's put the ball on the inside corner and the outside corner. And now he's got Willingham in the same spot he had Mauer. 0-2 with 2 out. Just off the plate. 1-2. Breaking ball down and in. 30 pitches this inning for Jay Happ. Threw 106 pitches in his last outing. Start before that 116. Again, when the Blue Jays were in Minnesota in mid-April, he was pitching out of their bullpen.
Spring training last year, the Blue Jays signed Jay Happ to a multi-year contract.
And now Willingham takes a pitch low for ball 3. First and second here, the runners will take off. Kendrys Morales on deck. And a third inning call to the bullpen from John Gibbons.
I was going to say one of the hopes the Blue Jays had in Happ is that he wouldn't do what he's done so many times. this is what you've seen a lot of last year from Jay Happ. Pitch count gets way up there too early, and consequently he couldn't get deep into games. A lot of times couldn't even get in situations to win a game.
Walked Santana to start the ball game on a 3-2 pitch. Just walked Mauer on a 3-2 pitch.
Worked the count now to Josh Willingham after throwing 2 strikes to start this at bat.
Second time he stepped off. One hop to Reyes. Willingham stung it on one hop to the shortstop, and the Twins leave 2 aboard in the third.
Two home run in 2 nights. First inning, he hits another home run with Danny Santana aboard. And how about this play by Kevin Correa? Gets himself out of a big jam, a big inning last time with bases loaded, but the Blue Jays did not score. So he's dodged a bullet a couple times so far in this game. See if he can have an easier inning here as he pitches to them in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Bautista's just taken his gun out of the holster. He's had great success against Correa. 7 hits in 10 at bats, a couple of home runs, a single in the first inning. And Correa gets ahead of him 0-1. 1-1. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Lind in the 3rd. Twins didn't score on the top of the 3rd, but it was an exhausting inning for Jay Happ. And now Correa would like to have just the opposite. There's a chopper on one hop to Nunez. Sets and fires, 1 down. Let's go back to our trivia question involving home runs. 20 of them this early in the season. Remember when the Blue Jays were in Minnesota, Encarnacion was struggling a bit, but not now. I got to go with Delgado.
You got Delgado. I've got Bautista.
And it is Delgado.
There you go.
George Bell.
Should have remembered George Bell. I probably gave him 5 or 6 of those.
Here's Encarnacion. That was the year Bell won the MVP, 1987. Some of us thought Kirby Puckett should have won it that year.
Yeah, some of us in Detroit thought Alan Trammell should have won it that year.
He already had one at that point, though, didn't he?
No.
Trammell?
No.
An MVP?
I don't believe he did at that point.
Here's Encarnacion, and Correa got ahead of him, and now it's even 1-1.
Some good baseball players, though, mentioned in that last sentence. George Bell, Kirby Puckett, Alan Trammell. They're all MVPs.
Off the plate, 2-1. Now to short, backhanded by Escobar. Throws him out, 2 down. Good play. A couple of ground ball outs, an encouraging sign for Correa, and that'll bring up Adam Lind.
Encouraging the fact that he's got 2 quick outs here after a tough inning here in the 2nd inning. And if he could get Lind here, it'd be a big plus for Kevin.
Counting his acrobatic, magical stop with the bases loaded and 1 out. That's 4 ground ball outs in a row now.
What would Burt say about that particular play?
It takes great athleticism to make a play like that.
And the truth be known, horrible mechanics put him in a position to throw the glove behind his back. Spinning off the ball, you're supposed to square up to the ball like Jim Cott did.
Yes.
Like Greg Maddux did.
1-0 to Lind. And on the outside corner. That's what we saw a lot more of from Correa last year. Throwing quality strikes and not leaving pitches out over the plate. And again, just outside, but if you're going to miss out there rather than over the middle of the plate.
And, you know, here we are now in the 3rd inning. He may have got through those early inning jitters. A lot of times, even the best pitchers, when you got to him early.
Left center. Willingham over for the catch. And Correa enjoys a 1-2-3 3rd inning. Bob Welch, one of the better right-handed pitchers of his time, big part of the Oakland A's dynasty in the late 80s and early 90s, and a guy I know that you locked up with many times, passed away last night at the age of 57. The Dodgers have said that it was a heart attack that claimed Welch's life. Of course, Terry Steinbach was a teammate of Welch's for many years with the Oakland A's. Terry had nothing but great things to say about Welch. And what a great competitor he was, and how he did everything at 110%. Whether it was on the baseball field or some other parts of his life that Welch admitted to weren't necessarily positive. He lived life to the fullest, as much as one can when they pass away at age 57. We're very sorry.
Sad deal. Last 25-game winner in baseball, Bob Welch. He was a tough competitor, and altogether too young.
27-game winner in 1990. Fouled back 1 and 2. Morales bounced into a double play his first time up. Morales, Arcia, and Nunez in the fourth inning. Morales got a hit in his Twins debut, and it was against a conventional pitcher, against a major league fastball. And so Ron Gardenhire figured, hey, why not run him out there again? This time as a right-handed batter toward the hole. Reyes plants and throws, and Morales has his second hit. He won't get many infield hits. I think you can tell that by looking at him, but he got one there.
Reyes got to the ball, went a long way to his right into the hole, but has a tough time planting anymore, and he has a tough time jumping, so he just had to kind of throw on the run, couldn't get enough on the throw. You see Kendrys Morales just hoofing it down the line, and eventually he gets to first base.
Here's Arcia lined out to center his first time up. Twins didn't do anything with a leadoff double in the third. And now Arcia takes ball one. And this is exactly where the Twins can take advantage of what they did to Happ in the third inning. No, they didn't score, but they had a really long inning, some great at bats. And Correa came back with a 1-2-3 bottom of the third, and Happ's right back out there with a leadoff man on base.
Yeah, 32 pitch inning in the third for J. Happ. You can't have too many of those in this day and age.
Outside 2-0.
I guess in any day and age, right? You go out there and have 32 pitch innings, you're not destined to be the winning pitcher after a CG in the ninth.
Mentioned Arcia has done more than hold his own against lefties, and limited number of at bats this year, and now it's 3-0. Arcia coming into the game with a .257 batting average and hitting .278 against lefties in 18 at bats. Home run, 4 runs batted in. Green lighted, and he fouls it back. 3-1. There's some concern over the weekend with the Twins coming here on this artificial turf. Arcia's got a sprained ankle. He had to be limited to DH duties at home at Target Field, but then with the signing of Morales, if he was going to play, it was going to be in right field, and he's been out there for the first 2 games, and he takes ball 4. First and second, nobody out for Nunez. Hey, I want to pass along a happy 85th birthday to Paul Leader of Greenfield, Minnesota. Paul's a great Twins fan. We know he's watching tonight, celebrating number 85. Greenfield, of course, just a little bit north and west of the Twin Cities area, over by Corcoran and Hanover and Loretto. So happy birthday, Paul.
Yeah, 85. I got to pass along a very happy birthday to a great Twins fan from Mora, Minnesota, 88 years old today, a guy named Arvid Morris, my father. It's
today?
his birthday today. So happy Pops.
Birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's watching, I hope.
I hope so, too. If not, whatever he's doing, I hope he's having fun.
Here's Nunez. And a liner to right, a base hit. Morales to third. That's all he'll get. And the Twins have the bases loaded with nobody out here in the fourth.
Well, great opportunity for the Twins to kind of break this game open here now. Nobody out. J. Happ just struggling. Nobody in the bullpen warming. And his pitch count is at 74 with nobody out in the top of the fourth.
Now, you know, Nunez is joking, but he's looking across at Morales saying, hey, how come you didn't score? And Morales is gesturing, well, hit it out there in the gap someplace and I might score.
Guy hasn't played since last year, and of course a lot of fun happening when things are going well.
Well, here is Suzuki. Down low, ball 1. Well, it's almost like this fourth inning is a continuation of the third for Happ. He's in trouble after the leadoff double, but he got out of it. But then he was back out on the mound so quickly.
One of the clutch hitters for the Twins, Kurt Suzuki now.
2-0.
Chance to pick up another RBI or two and keep the wheel moving.
And here comes Pete Walker again. They've already struck a pretty strong bond, just a couple of days in a Twins uniform, but they spend a lot of time together. Nunez. What's up? Come on.
Come on, compadre. What's going on there, man?
Hit it out there.
Yeah. Don't be hitting a little base hit right at somebody. You got to hit a gapper. There you go. Hit one out of the ballpark. Good stuff right there.
Well, as long as Morales scores, I'm sure Nunez will be content. Dangerous pitch here. 2-0 to Suzuki with the bases loaded. And a foul. He got a fastball right down the middle and tipped it.
Already, since Morales has been here, he's been out early every day trying to get some extra hitting in. His timing. Nunez has been right there with them, and they've in a short time bonded and a lot of fun together. They're teasing each other a lot. That's good to see.
2-1. Over the inside corner, 2-2. The Blue Jays had the bases loaded and one out in the second and didn't score. Now the Twins with the bases loaded, nobody out. Suzuki, as we've told you, tough guy to strike out.
Third toughest in the game right now.
Struck him out. And Happ gets a huge strikeout. One away.
Second strikeout for J. Happ. See Suzuki just trying to do a little too much with that pitch. Just momentarily pulling his head off the ball, and that's all it takes. Good location for the fastball, but Kurt usually handles that pitch.
Here is Escobar. Escobar with a chopper past Reyes. It went for a leadoff double his first time up. Swing and a foul, one strike.
He's another tough guy to double up. Although he hit into a double play yesterday, Eduardo, a fairly good runner, and rarely does he hit the ball in these double play situations. So maybe he can keep the wheel moving. Twins need to add a run or two here.
And he chases one outside quickly. 0-2. Incredibly, his 20th double of the year. He's got 47 hits and 20 doubles. Big spot here. Twins need to get something out of this. Already leading 2-0.
Right-hander Chad Jenkins warming now in the Blue Jay bullpen. J. Happ's pitch count at 81.
2 down. Happ, who had only gotten one strikeout before this inning, strikes out both Suzuki and Escobar, and now Santana.
Fastball down and in. Probably a ball, but Escobar trying to be the hero and drive in a couple runners. Swings out of the zone.
I mentioned it last night when Santana came up in the 9th inning. I think there was just a real good vibe that he was going to come through. We'll see if he can come through here in the 4th. On the outside corner. A walk, a run scored in the 1st, and then he was the first strikeout victim for Happ in the 3rd. Happ wriggled off the hook in the 3rd, trying to do it again here in the 4th. Back foul, and now it's 0-2 to Santana.
That's an indication of a pitch that I saw a lot of Jay Happ. You think it's a fastball. It's not overpowering fastball, but hitters are tardy with it. They don't pick it up right away.
Santana struck out on a breaking ball down and in the third. .95-mile-per-hour fastball in off the plate.
And Jay reaching back, trying to get out of this inning with his third straight strikeout.
One and two. And the dirt blocked by Navarro.
Good block there by Yonder Navarro. You got runners at third. Although Morales doesn't run all that well, a ball that gets by him, he could easily score from third. Jay Happ pretty much intentionally throwing that breaking ball down in the zone, hoping that Danny Santana would chase it, but pretty disciplined hitter and young hitter.
Foul back, still 2-2. Morales with an infield hit. Arcia with just his fourth walk of the year. And then Nunez with a line drive single to right. Since then, an unlikely strikeout of Suzuki, a strikeout of Escobar, and now 2-2 to Santana. 24th pitch this inning. Piece of it coming right at him with fastballs and dialing it up a notch with every one.
Just trying to reach back and let it go. That one at 96. .25 this inning, 32 last inning. He's at 88.
Another 2-2. Chopper in front of Francisco, barehanding and throwing it away into the crowd. Two runs will score. Santana will get credit for a base hit. And the Twins, with a little help, add two more at least here in the fourth.
Didn't believe that Juan Francisco had any chance on this ball. By the time he got to it, he's just got to eat it. Danny Santana gets down the line so well, and then he does the wrong thing too many times. We told all the young kids, look it, in these situations don't make back-to-back bad plays. Made a poor choice of throwing that ball and then airmail it right over Encarnacion's head. So that'll be it for Jay Happ.
Taken out here with two gone in the fourth. They came this close to spitting out the hook again in the fourth. shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. 4-0 Twins. Jay Happ came so close to getting out of a jam again in the fourth. Instead, it's 4-0, and he is relieved by Chad Jenkins.
5 games, all in relief for Chad Jenkins. He had a few starts last year. He's got a good sinking fastball. Very good movement within the strike zone.
This is where it's okay to be greedy, isn't it? This is where the Twins need to get 2 more in here. You got runners at second and third. Dozier at the plate. And he takes over the inside corner a strike. Be demoralizing to some degree for Toronto. Guy makes a good pitch and you get a speedy runner nubbing one in front of the third baseman. And instead of getting out of the inning, 2-run score, if you can turn that into a 4. Dozier swings and misses, 2 strikes. Oh, 0-2 to Brian Dozier. Popped up, back and out of play.
Just allowing Kevin Correa some breathing room. Another base hit right here would score 2 more than likely with the speed of Santana at second base and give the Twins a 6-0 lead. And then see if Kevin Correa can go out and just have another couple quick innings.
Pulled to third, Francisco. Almost took too long. Dozier retired. That ends the inning. The Twins do get a deuce on the board in the fourth and lead at 4-0. Have a 4-0 lead, and now a look at our Mountain Dew Kickstart fans of the game. And Miller's shirt, some Twins caps. Hoping the Twins can even this series at a game apiece. 4-0 the lead now for Kevin Correa. He'll face Laurie, Navarro, and Francisco.
He's got to attack that first hitter, Rhett Laurie. Base hit in his first at bat.
On the outside corner, 1-1. He has retired 5 men in a row, or put it another way, first time through the order. Blue Jays were 4 for 8 with a walk. So far, second time through the order, they're 0 for 5. Popped up. It's a foul ball. Suzuki has no play. 1-2. busted his bat. Lauer will flip to Correa, one away. One down, and let's go to Jamie Hirsch.
Thanks, guys. We just have a quick injury update for you on starting pitcher Mike Pelfrey. Twins announced today that he had successful surgery on his elbow to try to fix a nerve issue that he's been dealing with. Surgery happened earlier today, and you'll remember he's been on the disabled list for over a month now. Originally went on with a groin issue, but later when he was doing his rehab assignment at AAA, he experienced some numbness and some tingling in his right fingers, and that's when it was discovered he had to have ulnar nerve irritation surgery. To be clear, this is different from the Tommy John surgery he had 2 years ago. This is a nerve issue, not a ligament issue, and the trainers tell me this is a much quicker recovery time. However, no official timetable has been set for Mike Pelfrey.
Sounds like another broken bat. Dozier has all day to throw out Navarro. 2 down. And this has been just a miserable and perhaps lost year for Mike Pelfrey, and it's worth a reminder that Pelfrey was signed to a 2-year deal, so if he can get his elbow business squared away, and we certainly hope that health-wise Mike has a quick recovery, the Twins and Pelfrey might find themselves in much happier days next year, if not later this year. 2 down, and Francisco the batter.
Again, Kevin Correa doing a good job. The Twins score 2 runs in the top of the 4th, and he gets 2 quick outs. Hopefully get through this inning. 1, 2, 3, and he's kind of changed his outlook after 2 rough first and second innings.
Francisco lined out to Dozier, now inside, 2-0. I think this is a short answer you can give me. How was your elbow? Did it hold up all those years?
Yes, it did. The forkball finally got to me. My last year, I probably should have had Tommy John surgery. I went to see Dr. Andrews, and he suggested that I either have it if I wanted to continue my career for several years, or if I thought my career might be over soon, I probably pitch through the pain, but I couldn't throw the forkball anymore, and that's what I chose to do. Pitched my last year with Cleveland without a pitch that got me a lot of key outs. A lot tougher.
2-1 to Francisco. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Last base runner to reach for the Blue Jays, Anthony Goes, who walked to fill the bases in the second. Breaking ball got him, and Correa set down 8 men in a row. He's got a 4-0 lead. A couple of runs for the Twins in the first, 2 more in the fourth, on to the fifth. Joe Mauer will lead things off. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 batters: Mauer, Willingham, and Morales. Mauer with a ground ball to second, drew a walk in the third. Twins threatened in the third, didn't score, and it looked like a fourth inning threat was going to slip through their fingers. Up and away, ball 1. And a strike.
You can see the natural sink movement away from the left-hander that Chad Jenkins has on his fastball, a sinking fastball, and then a slider. So he's a sinker slider kind of guy.
Pulled eventually to Laurie. 1 down. And we'll bring up Willingham.
I'm going to do a little pitch by pitch in Joe's last at bat. Chad Jenkins getting him to ground out to Brett Laurie at second base. First pitch, fastball up and away, runs off the plate, comes right back with the same pitch and keeps it on the plate. And he goes again away with the fastball. This one pretty much over the middle. I don't know. Joe just didn't react to it well. Kind of rolled over an easy ground ball.
Here's Josh Willingham, 1 for 2, a single in the first, and sharply hit again to the glove of Reyes, 2 down. Could have mentioned it last night, but it never really was a factor. The Blue Jays a little short in their bullpen. Todd Redmond pitched 5 innings in the game Sunday here against the Cardinals, so he was not available last night, almost certainly not available tonight as well. And so now a 4th inning trip to the bullpen, bringing in Jenkins. The Twins would like to knock him around a little bit, maybe force another pitching change or 2 here to impact tomorrow's day game. Here's Morales taking ball 1.
Aaron Loop pitched an inning plus last night. He's very durable. He's probably ready to pitch again tonight. Brett Cecil, of course, can throw some innings, another left-hander. And Dustin McGowan probably not available. Casey Janssen, if there's a safe situation. Steve Delabar is the one guy in their bullpen that really pitched well.
Rifled to right center field, and Morales splits the gap. He'll have his first extra base hit. This guy is a hitter, and no one knew, and we still don't, how he'll do in the first couple of weeks up here in the big leagues. But if and when he gets back to his form, he is a very good professional hitter.
Well, you see how he kept his head still, head on the ball. Tough pitch, down and away, but he pulls it in the right center gap and labors around, gets to second base. So second hit of the game for Kendrys Morales.
And now Arcia drew a walk, scored a run in the fourth, lined out to center in the second. Over the inside corner, strike 2.
Getting back to the Blue Jay bullpen, Chad Jenkins will probably be asked to stretch it out here a little bit. He is a guy that was a starting pitcher, and he can throw 5-6 innings when needed to do so.
That hit Arcia, and he'll go to first base. And the Twins, who nearly didn't score after loading the bases. Arcia is still standing there.
It could be the same ankle, same area that he sprained, and it looks like he's in some pain. Dave Plumer is going to come out and take a look. See that slider spinning and just
He sprained his right ankle, but that ball hit him right on the bone that sticks out on his or your left ankle. Imagine that, getting hit with a baseball right where that bone sticks out, right above the foot.
And so now he's got 2 sore ankles.
Can't limp anymore, really.
Balance him out, right?
That'll bring up Nunez. Well, the Latin contingent of ball players for the Twins had the 4 impactful at bats in the 4th. Morales, Arcia, Nunez, and eventually Santana. Now Morales with 2 outs. Arcia is also aboard, and here comes Nunez. And now he fouls it off his front foot.
I'm sorry for laughing, but I think that's something former pitchers do.
And Arcia is not one to sympathize.
You watch this.
Right
Ouch.
off the bone on the left
Same
foot.
spot.
Yep.
Yeah, they can share the ice bath together after the game.
I tell you, Nunez is in substantial pain. He almost tipped over. Here comes Dave Prumer.
So is Arcia. Arcia is still feeling it down at first base. These balls do hurt.
Well, there's no padding there.
No, and you know, there's guys that wear guards, but a lot of times the guards are on the front side, and that ball, both balls hit on the inside of the shin, right there on the ankle.
This is Nunez is going to try to walk it off, but honestly, when he bent over, he almost fell over.
Guardy
he couldn't put any weight on it.
Here's another look at it from this angle. Guardy now talking to the catcher, Yonder Navarro, and I'm pretty sure he's saying, hey, could you take it easy on our guys here? We
no more sinkers.
Yeah, we need some guys to stay in the game.
A little smirk on the manager's face. Whatever Navarro had to say to him brought a smile. One strike to Nunez.
Home plate umpire Sean Barber has given him plenty of time to try to shake it off.
One and one. Pulled foul in front of his front leg.
Well, if you don't want to get hit in the leg, you got to hit that bat out in front of your body. That way, the only way it'll foul is your legs out of the way. You hit it deeper in behind your front leg, it's going to reflect or go down towards it.
Breaking ball away, and Nunez fights it off. Nunez with a line drive single to right his last time up. To left field, Cabrera going back to end the inning. 2 men left aboard. The Twins have left 2 on in each of the last 3 innings. stand waiting for the Twins after this road trip. And a reminder to bring your Circle Me signs. And if you get circled, you might find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. 4-0 Twins, and Kevin Correa has, it appears, found a bit of a groove. Second time through the order. And the Blue Jays are 0 for 8. Anthony Goes will lead off the 5th. Correa will start this inning with 63 pitches thrown. He's had a pair of back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. Strike called at the belt.
Correa has retired the last 7. Jays in order. So he is on a bit of a roll after struggling through the first 2 innings, but getting out of it unscathed.
1-1. And now 2-1. Left field, Willingham catches the line drive. A very well hit ball for out number 1. And before Reyes is at bat Saturday, a full day of MLB action beginning. The Twins taking on the Tigers on Fox Sports 1. Then it's baseball night in America on Fox. The Reds battling the Brewers. MLB doubleheader beginning Saturday at 3 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and continues at 6 p.m. Central on Fox. 1 down on the 5th. Reyes the batter. He's 0 for 2. If you just joined us, the Tigers White Sox game was rained out, so that's altered the Tiger rotation. And it appears now the Twins will miss both Verlander and Scherzer in the weekend series. And missing again, and Correa falls behind 2-0. Driven to right at Arcia, who had to fight the lights. And he made the catch. 2 down. A couple of rockets for the first 2 outs of the 5th.
Well, sometimes the atom ball is a pitcher's best friend. This ball was hit, and Arcia, I think right at the end, the ball was in the lights, just like Bautista last night. He lost the ball in the lights here at Rogers Center, but he stays with it. Points up there, yeah, it was in the lights.
Cabrera. Breaking ball over. What happened Sunday, the short start the Twins had on Sunday from Samuel Deduno, impacted the game last night. And of course that impacts the game tonight. You have just one short start, it seems, with a 12-man pitching staff, and there's a residual effect for the next several days. And Matt Guerrero was sent out last night for a second inning of work when ordinarily he might not, because of the extensive bullpen use on Sunday. Guerrero was sent out. No excuse for him walking the leadoff man as he did and taking the loss, but Twins bullpen not as rested as they would like. 2-1, and now 3-1 with Bautista on deck. Correa's issued 1 walk. It was the number 9 batter in the second inning, and it filled the bases with 1 out. Fly ball right field, and Arcia puts it away. Another 1-2-3 inning for Correa. He's sent down 11 men in a row. young Latin ball players. And Terry, of course, said, well, that depends. You know, the mentor, the older guy, in this case Morales, needs to get it done on the field, or else there's no benefit. And so far Morales has done it on the field in a couple of games.
Leadership is always number one on the field, and certainly he has a lot to offer the young players. But leading by example has always been, in my experience, the best way to do it. You get the attention of everybody else a lot easier when you can go out and show that you know what you're talking about.
Kurt Suzuki takes strike one. Suzuki struck out with the bases loaded and nobody out in the fourth inning. For Suzuki, it was just his 17th strikeout. Now a tapper to short. Reyes gobbles it up. One away. Here's a look at the AT&T fan photo of the game. You can tweet your photo to #NorthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Hey, Mr. Oliva, who was a mentor to the Carus and the Tovars of the world in his day. One down. Here's Escobar.
Escobar really one of the only Twins that have had success against Chad Jenkins. 1 for 2. Chad, of course, hasn't had a lot of opportunities to pitch against the Twins, just coming up last year for the first time.
2 strikes quickly to Escobar. 1 and 2. Escobar struck out after Suzuki did. And it looked like the great scoring chance in the fourth was going to be extinguished. But then Santana hit the number in front of Francisco. Francisco threw the ball away, and the Twins got a couple of runs anyway. There's a pitch over the inside corner. And Escobar takes a called third strike, 2 down. And with Santana coming to the plate, an invitation to tune in for baseball in the Dominican Republic Friday night. Bring you an up-close look at the Twins Academy, where players as young as 16 are chasing a major league dream. The Academy becomes their home away from home, as they're housed, fed, and schooled in both the game of baseball and in the challenges they'll face in this country. It's coming up Friday night after our Twins Live postgame show, the Dominican Republic, the Twins Academy. Santana takes ball 1. Got credit for 1 run batted in with his chopper in front of Francisco. 1 and 2. Excuse me, 1 and 1. Danny Santana from Monte Plata, Dominican Republic. Back to the mound. Jenkins has a 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, where right now you can score a delicious, creamy McCafe iced coffee starting at just $1.59. They're telling us that there are a few more fans here tonight than were here last night. Twins fan dressed up as a chicken, I guess. Here's Bautista, and there's a strike on the outside corner. A little over 19,000 last year, a little more than, or last night, a little more than 20,000 here tonight. But Jack, this has been one of the great success stories in baseball. Toronto looking for its 40th win already tonight. Haven't been in the playoffs since they won it all in 1993.
Everybody's telling me that with the Pan Am games coming here to Toronto next year, that traffic getting in and out of the city is almost impossible. They've got the main arteries, both east and west, all torn up, 2 lanes, and traffic has always been a nightmare here in Toronto.
I would think the jackhammering inside the Rogers Center would overcome the jackhammering outside. I mean, they pound the ball in here.
I think there's close to 4 million people living in and around Toronto. You'd think some of them living downtown. There's 1 billion condominiums here.
3-1 to Bautista.
I know that is a lot, but it seems like every day 2 or 3 new ones are being built.
Big test here for Correa. The 3, 4, and 5 batters: Bautista, Encarnacion, and Lind. 3-1. Right down the middle, 3-2. Bautista, despite his power, or perhaps because of it, he draws a lot of walks. And down by 4 runs, he took a pitch that was quite hittable, it looked like, but he understands the situation here. The Blue Jays need base runners. Line foul.
Bautista has really owned Kevin Correa. Like you mentioned, 7 for 10 now. 7 for 11, I guess.
Full count to the leadoff man, with Correa having retired 11 men in a row, including Bautista in the 3rd. Soft liner on a busted bat, and Correa wins the battle, 1 down. We'll bring up Encarnacion. On Friday, June 20th, help the Twins celebrate the 2014 All-Star Game by collecting your Harmon Killebrew 1965 All-Star Game bobblehead presented by Pepsi. Special collectible will be available to the first 10,000 fans at the gate. And after the game, stay for the fireworks presented by the Black Hills and Badlands of South Dakota. You can get your tickets by calling 800-33-TWINS or visiting twinsbaseball.com. And I believe this is true. The bobblehead craze started with a Killebrew bobblehead whenever 10, 12 years ago, whenever the Twins marketing department came up with the idea. I think it was just 5,000 Killebrew bobbleheads, and they became very, very valuable.
Big collector's item now for all of baseball, really.
1 strike to Encarnacion. 2 strikes.
Kevin Correa, meanwhile, is just on some kind of roll. Has retired the last 11 Blue Jay hitters.
.84 pitches, 50 strikes, and a much higher percentage of quality strikes here tonight than we've seen. To left center. Santana calling for it, making the catch in front of Willingham. 2 down. I think that's how that play is supposed to work, right? Center fielder is supposed to call the left fielder off.
I agree with that. You know, he's the quarterback. He has the right, but you want the left fielder to get the heck out of the way. You don't want him to kind of duck just in front of you.
We had a play like that, I think it was last night, where they kind of got a little mixed up and Santana almost ran into Willingham, who was standing under the ball. This one was in the gap, and Santana with the speed to track it down, and now Lind fouls the first pitch away. 1 strike.
Encarnacion just did not square that ball up. It It was hit on a line, but it wasn't really hit sharply, allowing Santana and Willingham an opportunity to catch that ball. You got the shift on with to the right side. You got Dozier deep in the hole, and Escobar playing where Dozier normally would. Nunez in the shortstop position, so they're shifting in this situation for Adam Lynn.
Now 0-2.
Outfield playing straight away.
One and two. Blue Jays had the bases loaded, one out. Reyes hit a smash up the middle. Somehow Correa swung the glove behind his back, snagged it, got a force out at home. He hasn't given up a base runner since. And now 2-2. You're out there and you're trying to find something, hopefully how you're performing, to convince yourself that this is your night, right? Well, maybe somehow that play gave Correa a little bit of confidence boost.
As we reflect back on it, it was a huge part of this game.
Just off the outside corner, and Correa thought he had it. He stepped toward his dugout. Now 3-2.
See this last pitch on Fox Tracks.
It's outside
off the corner.
Full count, 2 down. Off the plate.
Good sinking fastball right there from Kevin Correa. Adam Lynn doing a good job of just staying alive.
Correa gave the Twins a quality start in his opening start in Chicago, but only 4 quality starts since. To button up the 6th inning here, it would be his best 6th inning so far. Ooh, right over his cap. And that ends the hitless string. It's been
12 straight.
Yep. A 2-out single for Lynn, and that'll get Laurie to the plate.
Adam Lynn works the count, finally gets a pitch down the middle. Kevin Correa figuring, why not? I might as well challenge him here, and throws it right down Broadway. Adam Lynn goes right up center field.
Laurie singled his first time up, and then Correa got him on a ground ball to Mauer his next time up. On the outside corner. Those fans, I think, could be forgiven first time through the order, going, oh no, here we go again. First 9 plate appearances, 4 sharp singles and a walk. Chop to Dozier, and a flip to first. That ends it. Another good inning for Correa. 6 shutout innings against this powerful Toronto lineup.
Brian Dozier in the first inning, his second home run in the first inning in back-to-back games. Kevin Correa in a jam early in the game. Look what I got. Back to Suzuki and gets out a Melky Cabrera, a little weak ground ball, gets out of the inning without a run scored. And Danny Santana hits a little dribbler to third base, and you see that ball thrown over the head. The Twins scored 2 more.
Subway in-game box score. Couple of runs in the first, couple runs in the fourth, and now Dozier, Mauer, Willingham will hit in the 7th. Dozier with a 2-run home run to start the scoring. Came into the game on a pace. That's a foul ball by about the width of the baseball. Tom Hallion saw it sail right by him, and we'll see if the Twins take a look at this. It looked from up here that he'd made the right call. Joe Vavra is going to talk to Hallion a bit, but unless or until Ron Gardenhire comes out, there won't be a challenge.
Now Hallion standing right on the line. He turns and looks, and ooh, it almost looked like it hit the chalk line.
Dozier steps out of the box. He doesn't often do that, but you wonder if he's waiting for the Twins to come out here.
You watch this right here. Dozier gets out of the way, and man,
that hit the outside of the line, I think.
Too late now.
Swing and a miss to 0-2. Paul Molitor on the phone, and Dozier is out on strikes. The Twins might have had a chance to review that. And maybe the Twin who had the best look at it was Joe Vavra, the third base coach, right there. If it catches a part of the line, and it sure
appears to, it did.
It kicked up some of that sediment right on the line, not the chalk, but the sediment that's laid on top of the field here. One down in the 7th, and now Mauer fouling it away. One of the reasons it's so bouncy here, and it did come into play at the end of the game last night with a little doink in front of Oswaldo Arcia. They say that they brought the turf up, as they do regularly here. In the past, it's been a sand granulated rubber mixture, and now it's all the granulated rubber. They took the sand out, which naturally makes it bouncier. And they're warning us, particularly if the roof is closed or open tomorrow and the sun's beating on it, it's really going to be springy. 2-1. Mauer 0 for 2 with a walk. 2 ground balls into the shift with Laurie in short right field. Snagged by Jenkins, and Mauer had a base hit taken away by the pitcher of all things. 2 down. You can go to the game with the Fox Sports North girls at Target Field for just $32. You'll sit on the Skyline deck with the Fox Sports North girls, plus receive a free t-shirt. Offers only available for the July 24th White Sox and August 22nd Tigers games. Tickets are limited, must be purchased in advance. Call 33 Twins and ask for the FSN girls offer. Here's Willingham. And first pitch strike. Willingham with a single to left and a couple of hard ground balls to Reyes. Speed pitch, just missed the outside corner.
Pretty quiet crowd here tonight at Rogers Center. The Twins on top 4-0. Kevin Correa doing a good job of silencing everyone, including the Blue Jay bats, since the second inning. Gibbons had to turn to his bullpen early. Inside 3-1, bringing
Jenkins in the 4th inning. Twins put together a 2-out threat against him in the 5th. But now he sent down 6 men in a row. And Willingham takes a walk. That'll bring Morales up.
Morales having a good night at the plate. His first multi-hit game since he started playing. Last at bat, a double into right center. Pete Walker going to come out quickly to talk his right-hander, Chad Jenkins.
Morales will have a chance here to drive in his first run as a Twin. He's got 3 hits. A line drive single last night, an infield hit, and a run scored in the 4th, and then he drilled a double to right center his last time up. Key guy in the signing for Morales is a guy who now works for Scott Boras, the agent, Morales' agent, and who used to play for the Twins. Alex Ochoa was an outfielder for the Twins in 1998. Actually did a pretty good job for the Twins in the role he was in. Kind of an extra outfielder type. Hit .257, 14 doubles, couple of triples, couple of home runs. And it was Ochoa who kind of oversaw the workouts for Morales and some other Boras clients down in Florida. 1 strike. Pulled foul, 2 strikes.
Here, I thought Tony Oliva had something to do with it. That's what Terry Ryan was teasing everybody at the press conference, that Tony trying to get a Cuban-born player, of which he was also, played for the Twins.
See Steve Delabar in the Toronto bullpen. Morales with power from both sides of the plate, trying to deliver a 2-out hit here in the 7th. Fouled the other way. Morales didn't accept a qualifying offer from the Mariners because he was looking for a long-term deal, and the question was asked why the Twins didn't sign Morales to a long-term deal, and Terry Ryan said it was at the behest of Morales and his agent. They were just looking for a 1-year deal. And he strikes out to end the 7th inning. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Right now the Twins are in control of this one, 4-0. I did that.
Very nice.
And Kevin Correa out there for the 7th inning. I don't know what's in the press dining room tomorrow.
Friends of Dave Winfield are here.
Deanna Navarro will lead things off in the 7th against Correa. And a strike on the outside corner. Breaking ball wide of the plate. I just noticed Morales there with tape on his fingers at the press conference announcing his signing. Dan Gladden asked him about the blisters, and you know he's a callus guy. He wants calluses on his hands. Well, you're not going to have calluses if you tape your fingers up.
I loved his response though. He said, "You want to pitch to me, Danny? I'll show you if I can hit." I loved it. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Kevin Correa really settled in after a tough first couple of innings. Looked like the Blue Jays were really going to break loose, but he was able to dodge a bullet there early, and he has spun himself a gem here since the 2nd inning.
1-2. And again, the Twins would like to get every out they can from him, with Brian Dunsing warming up, and then I'm assuming that's
like Jared Burton, maybe.
Jared Burton warming up. Twins, I think, have a short leash on Correa here. Popped up and near the Toronto dugout. One of Correa's starts was start against Kansas City in the middle of April. He had 6 shutout innings, and then in the blink of an eye, the Royals had 3 runs on the board against him. So I don't know that he'll be on too long of a leash here.
98 pitches. You got to believe that if he gets in any kind of trouble, his evening will be over.
1-2 to Navarro. Stroke to right, a solid base hit. And Navarro's aboard to start the inning. Number 8 batter Juan Francisco is next. Need a gift for Dad? The MLB.com at-bat app and a subscription to its premium features on his smartphone or tablet are a perfect Father's Day surprise. Dad will have access to features like live look-ins, instant replay, live audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Visit twinsbaseball.com for more info.
Garden making a slow walk out there, and I think he's going to indicate he wants somebody out of the pen. He's going to be happy with what Kevin Correa gave him tonight.
Very definitely a step forward for a Kevin Correa. With 6 shutout innings, he leaves in the 7th.
Your shoulders and the tilt on the shoulders. Here's a look at some of the pitches Kevin made tonight. Big situations. Gianna Navarro with his only strikeout. That was Juan Francisco, I think. And there's the big play of the game. The bases loaded. He's able to lay a pitch, and then Melky Cabrera pounds one into the dirt, and he covers first base, gets out of the inning, and pretty much on cruise control the rest of the night for Kevin Correa. Very good outing.
Brian Dunsing in the game for the Twins. Steve Tollefson in for the Jays. Runner at first, nobody out. And the pitch, a check swing foul. Tollefson might have been the most relieved man in the ballpark last night when Steve Pilar dumped a single that drove in the game-winning run because Tollefson muffed a double play chance and extended the game. Dunsing hoping for a better outing in his last outing against the Astros. He gave up a couple of walks, 3 hits, and a grand slam home run. Swing and a miss, 0-2. All the runs that Dunsing has allowed, all of them have come in 3 outings. He's given up 3 runs in an outing, 2 runs in an outing, and now 4 runs in an outing. Foul tip, and Suzuki couldn't hang on. Earlier we talked about Correa and how the biggest issue for him has been the big inning.
Well, he avoided that tonight.
If it weren't for the big inning, Dunsing would be mentioned for some all-star consideration. There, strike 3. And Tollefson heads back to the dugout.
Good pitch from Brian Dunsing, just locking up Tollefson. Tollefson looking for either the breaking ball, but something away, and Brian just froze him with the inside fastball. There it is right there on the inside corner, right below the belt.
Strikeout by Dunsing raises another $1,000 for prostate cancer research. The Twins organization will also be donating $10,000 for each home run hit by the Twins this week in support of the Home Run Challenge. Anthony Goes takes strike 1. Or excuse me, this is Pilar. Yep, Pilar hitting for Goes. Gibbons using half his bench here in the 7th inning. 1-1. Fouled back up the first baseline, should say. 1-2.
Kevin Pilar got the game-winning hit. A little chip shot over the right first baseman's head. Right off the end of the bat, bottom of the 9th inning, to help the Jays win that game after he kind of made a desperate attempt to catch a ball in the top half of the 9th inning. Ball that got by him and allowed the hitter to get to second base in scoring position. So like Steve Tollefson, Pilar pretty happy in the fact that he redeemed himself.
2-2 to Pilar. Reyes will follow. And driven foul. I mentioned at the start last night that the playing surface here reminds me of the first artificial turf surface at the Metrodome, and sure enough, that base hit by Pilar reminded me of one of the more infamous hits early in the Metrodome years. Tim Tuffle hitting a little flare. Harold Baines tried to come in on it. It bounced over his head, and it was a walk-off inside the park home run for Tim Tuffle. Nice stop by Suzuki. That ball landed 2 feet in front of the plate. So outfielders very quickly here learn you've got to play the ball differently.
And that's why they come out early that first day in every year, to take extra batting practice, to run around, see how the ball reacts when it hits the surface. Check out the visual above them.
And another foul.
The roof's open, the roof's closed here in Toronto. It's going to have a different look, obviously.
Pilar battling Dunsing. Pilar hit a pretty good pitch by Casey Fiend last night. A breaking ball down and away. Just hit it off the end of the bat in a good spot. Chopper to third. And out at second. Good play by Nunez. Had to wait for the ball to get to him. He still was able to get Navarro, who doesn't run well, 2 down. And Pilar reaches on a fielder's choice. Here's Reyes. 3 hits last night, 0 for 3 tonight. It was Reyes's one-hop smash that was speared behind his back by the starter, Kevin Correa, and that seemed to turn this whole game around.
Yeah, he's been robbed of 2 hits. He hit the ball hard right at Arcia also here in this game in the 5th inning. So Jose Reyes has done a good job. Just been 2 base hits potentially taken away from him.
And outside 2-0. Strike call, 2-1.
Generous pitch right there from home plate umpire Sean Barber.
I think that pitch has been given generously throughout the game tonight. Pitch just off the plate to a right-handed batter. So Suzuki sets up out there again. 3-1. Blue Jays got a leadoff single, and now Dunsing's job is make sure nothing mushrooms here in the 7th inning. He's gotten a couple of outs. As dangerous as Reyes might be, he doesn't want to walk him because of who's hitting behind him.
Cabrera, Batista, Encarnacion. 3 very, very good hitters.
Just over the reach of Nunez to the corner. Backhanded by Willingham. And Pilar holds at second. So a nice retrieve by Willingham. Reyes hits his way aboard. 2 on with 2 out.
Kevin Pilar, as he's rounding second base, I think he had a notion to go to third base, but the wheels fell out underneath him. And as he's rounding the bag, he has to scamper back because he fell down.
And a big at bat now with 2 men on. Melky Cabrera at the plate. Single and 3 trips.
Melky will turn around and hit right-handed now off the left-handed pitching Brian Dunsing.
Strike on the outside corner. Cabrera 6 for 15 against Dunsing. Dunsing's never struck him out. Doesn't need to strike him out here.
No. Ground ball will work just fine.
One and one to Melky Cabrera. Line to Nunez. Hit just as hard as Reyes' smash with a little lower loft for the 3rd out. Cooperstown. There's a few more games like that. He might be in Cooperstown. Steve Delabar coming out of the Toronto pen to pitch to Oswaldo Arcia and others in the 8th. Arcia has reached his last 2 times up. He's 0 for 1. Lined out to center in the 2nd. Walked and scored in the 4th. Hit by a pitch in the 5th. Big swing and a miss. Strike 1. Not because of that swing, but I've got a call here. Pilar is in center field. Collison at 2nd. Laurie over at 3rd. I think Arcia is going to hit a home run here. 1-1. On the outside corner, 1-2. Man has immense power, and he's not afraid to show it. Off the front foot.
From the knee down this last week has been very tough on Oswaldo. See him wearing that guard around his right ankle.
Ran off the end of the bat. A little bit off that pitch, and see hitters do that from time to time. Smell the barrel. That time Arcia smelled the end of the bat. One and two. On the left field line, fairly deep. A long run for Cabrera, and foul about 6 feet. The American League Central really is amazing. It is by far the tightest division. The National League East has a 7.5 game spread between Atlanta and Washington on top and Philadelphia on the bottom, but just 5 games separating the last place team, the Twins, and the first place team, the Tigers.
Really a different scenario in the East, though, with Toronto leading Tampa by 15 games.
1 away. And Eduardo Nunez will hit. Sanford Health injury report. Tough news from Michael Kadire. He's got a non-displaced fracture in the shoulder socket. And not expected to need surgery. Just, he's going to be shut down for a while. And when the Twins go through Coors Field right before the All-Star break, we might see Michael Kadire, but we won't have a chance to see him play. Yes, Kadire, last year's National League batting champion. Did you, having seen Kadire play all those years in a Twins uniform, did you ever see a batting championship in his future?
I'm not surprised, especially at Coors Field.
Yeah. Strike 2 to Nunez.
He's one of those good guys that you're happy that he's done well, even though you wish he would still be wearing the TC uniform. He's just a quality human being, and he's represented himself in baseball very well.
Drilled to right on an 0-2 pitch. Nunez has his drive smothered by Bautista in right field. Second hit to the opposite field for Eduardo Nunez. That'll bring up Kurt Suzuki.
See the pitch, a fastball that Nunez just goes down after. Good angle right there to show how well he stayed down on that ball and drilled it to right field.
And here is Suzuki. Remember years ago when I was matched up with Michael Kadire on the Twins Caravan, and I think it was the first time Michael went out on the Caravan, and so well spoken and so good with the fans, and this was when he hadn't really proved himself as a player. And I remember thinking, boy, what a great representation for the Twins. I hope this guy can play. And then I thought a lot about that a few years ago when I was paired with Brian Dozier. out on the Caravan, and Dozier hadn't established himself either. And the same thing there with Brian, just so good with the fans and representing the team so well spoken, hoping that he too could play. And I think we're finding out in the last year and a half that he can play too.
Also, yeah. Fun time of year, the Twins Caravan, the winter. The last few that I've gone on, I've been fortunate enough to do the northern leg, and look forward to the 32 below that we always see up in the northwestern part of the state.
1 strike to Suzuki. There goes Nunez, swing and a miss, and Navarro's throw got him on the foot, and this might be challenged. Here comes Ron Gardenhire.
We're going to probably have to take a look at this.
Eric Cooper saw Tollison make the catch and put the tag on Eduardo Nunez's lower half while the upper half was reaching for the bag.
I got to believe that what Eric Cooper probably saw was that he came off the bag. He clearly beat the throw there.
Oh, I think he got him on the ankle before Nunez got to the bag. Right there. I think that's a good call.
Oh. That one really will not define what happens. But Gardy not going to challenge it.
That's a heck of a play by Tollison. It was a one-hop throw, and you see middle infielders so often have to raise that glove, and in doing so they're unable to put the tag down. But that time Tollison was able to do both. 2 strikes, now 2 outs. And now 1 and 2. Pulled foul. Suzuki matched up once again with Correa, and the best outing Correa's had in quite some time after a couple of starts with Josmiel Pinto. Now, that's not to blame Pinto for Correa's ineffectiveness, but the way the numbers lined up as Correa came off the mound, I would think there's a very good chance that Suzuki will be catching Correa again the next time out.
You just wonder sometimes how much effect they have, but somehow Suzuki was able to get him through those rough 2 innings early in the game, and after that they really settled in together. And really after the first 2 innings, Kevin just didn't make any mistakes out over the plate, and that's been a problem that he's had. So much improved today.
Did you have a catcher in your days where people look at the lineup and they kind of raise an eyebrow? Now, what's this guy doing catching Morris? Why are they matched up together?
Well, yeah, Sparky would always, later on in the last few years that I played for Detroit, Sparky would several times use the number 2 or number 3 catcher when I pitched, and I was annoyed with it. I told him I wanted, Lance behind the plate just like everybody else. And he said, look, you know what you're doing out there, and you can help these guys. They need their time too, and Lance needs a day off, so I'd rather have you out there than maybe a younger kid that.
Ouch. Suzuki hit by the pitch. It's a 1-2 pitch, and he'll go to first.
But there is a lot to a good battery mate. He can really help. Lance knew me so well that at times he wouldn't even have to say anything. He'd look at me. He'd throw a ball back a certain way, and I got the message real loud and clear.
There's Escobar hitting with Suzuki at first. Well, it's kind of a timely topic because I'm talking with Terry Steinbach today about the passing of Bob Welch at the age of 57. Welch won the Cy Young Award in 1990, and Terry said he wasn't his catcher. It was Ron Hasse that year that somehow Welch, who Terry had caught both before and after his Cy Young year, things clicked early in the season with the backup catcher Ron Hasse, and Tony La Russa said, "Oh, we're just going to let this ride out," and it rode out to the tune of 27 wins. Called strike 0-2.
Bob Welch apparently had never thrown to a black glove, and Terry was using a black glove. He wasn't used to it.
That was one of the anecdotes Terry told. They were having a hard time, and finally Bob Welch says, well, it's your glove. Well, what's wrong with it? He says, well, it's black. I can only throw to a brown glove. So Terry gave him one of his to put on the mantle to stare at, so he'd get used to looking at a black glove. 1-2. Twins got a couple runs in the first, 2 more in the fourth, and each team has had some scoring chances, but the Twins frankly have had better chances than the Blue Jays. It's been a wonderfully pitched game by Kevin Correa, and Brian Dunson got through the 7th inning. 1-2. Escobar lifts a fly right at center fielder Pilar. He comes in a couple of steps to end the top of the 8th. Another one tonight, getting the game started in the right direction. The difference is Kevin Correa had a chance to give back some runs in the first and the second. He didn't do that. And the Twins added a couple of runs in the fourth. Now hand over a 4-0 lead to Jared Burton.
Jared Burton coming in. His 27th game for the Twins this season. And he'll be asked to get through this inning and maybe a little bit into the 9th. We'll see if Glenn Perkins is going to come in. It's right now not a save situation.
Tough assignment for Burton. Yes, he's got a 4-run lead, but he's facing Bautista, Encarnacion, and Lind. Bautista 1 for 3. The broken bat liner to short his last time up. Big swing and a miss. Chris Parmelee's taken over in right field. Bautista 1 for 10 against Jared Burton. 4 strikeouts, and the one was a home run. Up the middle, but look who's there. Dozier. Ball hit off the end of the bat. The Twins were shifting Bautista, and the Twins have seen a lot of hits taken away with the other guy's shifts, and now an important hit taken away by Dozier up the middle.
You can see Bautista, just that spinning ball right off the end of the bat. It gets by Jared Burton, but like I said, Dick, right there is Brian Dozier easily making a play and getting the first out.
Not sure what happened there. We had a little snowball fight going on there. Dozier was getting rid of one ball, and umpire was giving a new ball into play. Here's the shift now on for Encarnacion. Burton, I think, took that ball out of play because Bautista hit it right off the end of the bat. There might have been a scuff or a scrape or a cut. High pop up left side, Nunez. A fair ball catch, out number 2. Now, Bert has always talked that in the old days, those were considered gifts from God. If you had a baseball that wasn't perfectly round, a little scrape or a scuff, you did the honorable thing and took that ball and took it out of play.
I did when I was young and silly enough not to know what those balls were like. But never after I figured it out would you throw a ball like that out, because they're oblong. They're not round anymore. They have lost all their hardness and they will dart everywhere.
Side ball 1.
So you make the hitter throw it out.
Lind with a single his last time up. Out in front, that changeup. 1-1.
It's funny how baseball is when you're a kid. Of course, I didn't pitch much when I was a kid, but when you're a kid, you couldn't wait to have a new ball in the game. You know, that new white shiny one. You wanted that one. You get old and you're on the mound and you're in the big leagues, you want a dirty, scuffed one that's black.
1-2. Fouled away. When I was a kid in Dumont, Minnesota, if you had a dime, you went to the store up in the corner and you bought a new baseball, and it was filled with sawdust in the middle, and it would last about a day and a half.
It turns into a wiffle ball later on, right?
Mush. 1-2. 2-2. But it was nice to hold on to those perfectly white baseballs.
I have to believe that those were the balls that were used in the turn of the century, because you look at some of the video and home runs, nobody hit home runs.
If you did, you had to run them out. To deep left center. Santana finding the range, making the catch. Great inning for Jared Burton as he goes through the middle of the Toronto lineup. 1-2-3. It's a 4-0 Twins lead. We go to the 9th inning. A couple of runs for the Twins in the first, 2 more in the 4th. Kevin Correa's line very, very strong tonight. And now the top of the order facing Brett Cecil for the Twins here in the 9th inning. Santana, Dozier, and Mauer. Strike 1. Happens a lot, but Cecil, another example of a guy who is used with the frustration in the rotation. They put him in the bullpen and something clicked. And Santana with a base hit up the middle, his second hit with a walk in the ball game.
Another good night for Danny Santana offensively. Scored a run with a walk in the first on Dozier's home run. He singled in the 4th and now singles again here in the 9th.
Well, the Twins tried to steal Nunez in the 8th inning. We'll see if they try to move Santana against the lefty here in the 9th. Dozier hit a 2-run home run in the first inning. Reyes to Tollison, and Encarnacion can hang on to the backhand. Dozier reaches on a fielder's choice. 1 down. Mauer coming up next. Our Century Link to what's next. It's a day game and it's a morning start back home. Phil Hughes going for his 7th win. Marcus Stroman 3-0 with a kind of high ERA, but you got a good scouting report on Stroman. What are we going to see tomorrow?
Well, he reminds me a lot of Flash Gordon, Tom Gordon. He's a shorter guy that has got a very live fastball. He's got a good over-the-top curveball, and he's got a lot of guts. This kid is a tough competitor. Should be a fun game to watch.
Joe Mauer 0 for 3 with a walk. Strike on the outside corner. Inside 1-1. One and two.
So had a good rip at that ball right there, just following it off.
Jones just 1 for 8 against Cecil. Single the last time he faced him. And there goes Dozier. And Mauer takes a called third strike. 2 away.
And ball right down Broadway, and Joe just froze. He was obviously looking for the breaking ball or some other pitch.
We'll bring up Willingham. 1 for 3 with a walk. Twins of Glenn Perkins warming up in the bullpen, even though it's not a save situation. Twins have a day game tomorrow, then an off day on Thursday, so I think they're in position where they'd feel quite comfortable using Glenn tonight and again tomorrow, knowing that Thursday everybody gets a day off. Check swing, a strike to Willingham. He thought he checked.
Foul tip, I think.
Wasn't a foul tip. I don't think he. Yeah. And it looked like he checked. Full swing and a miss. 0-2. It's always bothered me that home plate umpires don't ask. I think in reality, if Sean Barber had asked Chris Guccione, there wouldn't have been a strike. And if you're a home plate umpire, you got to be sure the guy goes, don't you? That was no more of swing than the first pitch. 1-2. Still maintain that the strained relationship between Ron Gardenhire and Hunter Wendelstedt began on a check swing in Milwaukee. Doug Minkiewicz with a check swing, and Wendelstedt called it strike 3 when Doug still to this day would maintain he wasn't close to going through. That's how the game ended. A little bit high, 2-2. If you're the home plate umpire, there's no harm in asking. The other guy got a much better look at it than you do.
Well, even more important, I think, is the fact that on those close plays, you've got to expect the manager to come out and argue and stick up for his player, and you've got to be a little lenient with those arguments. Let him vent, give him his time, and then move the game along. But so many of them get so excited about their authority and being right and wrong, and how dare you question my authority, and they toss a guy before it ever, for reasons they shouldn't. Let's put it that way.
3-2 to Willingham with 2 gone here in the top of the 9th. Willingham has had to use his good eye and working the count full here. He's right where he wants to be. 3-2. He should get something good to hit. Instead, he takes a walk. First and second, 2 down, and that'll bring up the switch hitter, Kendry Morales.
Second time in 2 at-bats that Josh has reached first via the walk.
With an infield hit as a right-handed batter, a double to the gap in right center as a left-handed batter. Ball 1. Fans are getting on Morales, wanting him to tuck in his jersey. Yelling, tuck it in.
Tuck it in.
He's for as long as I've seen him play, he's always had kind of a billowed look around the waistline where his jersey, a little extra room, but here it is completely untucked. Tapper to second, while it is a disturbance in the left field corner. Play continues with security guys reacting to a fan who ran on the field in the left field corner. Away from doing that. It's not a save situation, but Glenn Perkins is coming in anyway. Perk's been outstanding. Now, he gave up a grand slam in his last outing, but because of an error, all the runs were unearned runs. So technically, by the book, he's given up just one earned run in his last 9 outings, and has picked up a win and 6 saves in his last 9 outings.
Delicate balance. A manager has got to keep his closer sharp, and sometimes that requires him to come into games in non-save situations. And Gardy trying to keep Perk sharp by bringing him in here.
Laurie, Navarro, and Tollison to hit in the 9th. Perkins misses ball 1. Laurie 1 for 3, a single his first time up. You look at the American League Central, and top to bottom, it's Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago, Kansas City, and Minnesota. And the 2 teams on the bottom are probably getting their best work at the end of the game from their closers than the 3 teams at the top of the division. Joe Nathan's really struggled as of late. There's a fastball and strike 2. One and 2 to the leadoff man here in the 9th. Popped up. Spinning toward the seats and back in them. Greg Holland of Kansas City and Fernando Rodney of the Mariners leading the league with 18 saves. Perkins 2 behind. Drilled foul. Nathan has 13 saves, but he's given up an awful lot of runs in his last 3-4 outings. One and 2. And now 2 and 2. Laurie does a nice job laying off the slider.
With the Tigers rained out tonight's game, the Twins could pick up a half a game with a win here.
Popped up. This one playable. Mauer across the line. And down. And we'll bring up Navarro. Navarro with a pair of hits. His single leading off the 7th knocked out Kevin Correa. Dunson came in to get the 3 outs needed in the 7th. Jared Burton with as good an inning as he's had in quite some time, facing Bautista, Encarnacion, and Lind, not allowing a base runner, and now the first man retired in the 9th.
Twins pitchers really doing a good job from the 3rd inning on.
And I'll go ahead and say it. Pitchers are the best athletes on the team, and a very athletic out for the 2nd out of that 2nd inning seemed to have turned this game around. At least Kevin Correa's game around.
I will agree that there are certain pitchers that are extremely athletic. There are a bunch that aren't.
Foul, just a strike.
And he pulled one out of his hat right there, because you're supposed to finish up in a fielding position, and I would argue even with Bird about the great athleticism that Correa displayed, that it was not exactly a fielding position.
Nunez has time, and look at that arm.
Did not panic.
Wow. Navarro doesn't run well, and Nunez knew that. He knocked it down and then picked it up and rifled a throw across the diamond.
Knew the runner, and that's something that's important. Nunez had a tough time, finds it. You'd like to see him pick it up with his bare hand, but was able to pick it up with the glove hand. And like you said, Dick, just threw a rocket over to first base.
Tollison called out on strikes. And he takes a breaking ball, strike one. Foul back, 2 strikes. The Blue Jays are 1 strike away from being shut out for the 3rd time in the last 4 games.
That's right.
And a fastball up. Kansas City's still shutting out Cleveland 6-0 in the 7th in Kauffman Stadium. Whoa. Where did that miss? That's not a rhetorical question. Where did that miss? Inside, I guess. There's a breaking pitch.
That'll work.
And a slider ends the game. And the Minnesota Twins bounce back from a very frustrating loss last night with one of their better wins of the year.
Well, a well-pitched game after a rough first inning. Kevin Correa picks up his 3rd win. The Twins get him enough runs, 2 in the 1st and then 2 in the 4th, and that's the ball game. Good game for the Twins tonight.
With Brian Dozier's home run, a total of $602 was raised for prostate